Hey, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Mudra Link. Now, the Mudra Link is something that I'm really excited about because it sort of takes that awesome technology that we've seen in like the Meta Ray-Ban displays, for example, and sort of opens it up to other devices and allows you to be able to use it. Now, Mudra was kind enough to send this one out to me. I reached out to them to see if I could get a review unit because I tested the Meta Ray-Bans and I like the wristband more than I liked the glasses. Now, with the glasses, the Meta Ray-Ban displays, the big issue for me was that it had just a single like monocular display, which like really messed up my vision, and it's likely because my right eye is actually my bad eye. And so having only the display on my right eye, granted I was only testing without the prescriptions in it, but I wasn't really ready to commit to like picking up a device that's that expensive and getting prescriptions put in it and hoping for the best. So luckily, I was able to pick up a set of the RayNeo X3 Pros, and those have been great glasses. But the one thing that I really felt like they were lacking was a good way to interact with them without having to hold or touch a device. Now, what I mean by that is you can use, here, let me actually grab them. You can use the side panel to move around and do things, and you can also use your phone. So if you grab your phone and you open up the app, you can use it to like navigate around the glasses and move them around. But both of those are your hands doing something and being super obvious. Now I'm going to pop these back off, but if you have something like the Mudra Link, what it does is allows you to just control that device with being a little bit more discreet and using some of those neural technologies that are in the Ray-Ban Meta displays. Now, we're going to jump into it. I don't want to give up too much information here. I do really like the device, bottom line up front, but there are a couple pretty serious caveats that go along with that we'll talk about in the video. So let's just jump into the video. My name is Connor, and this is where the Informal Tech Reviews live. Okay, in our typical informal fashion, we're going to go ahead and look at the website, then we'll probably do an unboxing and look at some different tests and demos. I tried it with a bunch of different devices, and there was a couple quirks in most of them, but they really did feel pretty good. There's a couple different modes, we'll run through the setup, things like that, but let's jump straight into the website, and you can see immediately that it's currently on sale for $249 with 17% off. Now, it's not super cheap, right? It's a little bit more on the expensive side, but there's not a whole lot of technology out there like this. Now, there is one alternative that I got a chance to try, which would be Wow Mouse on the Android Wear devices, and that actually did fit a lot of the need of the Mudra Link, but the one thing that really bothered me with that, which I don't know, if you guys want to see a video on Wow Mouse, let me know, we can drop something like that, but the sensitivity, I wasn't able to really control it granularly like I liked, and it didn't feel as smooth as the Mudra. And then there's also like the tap and hold gestures, so when you're doing a lot of the gestures with Wow Mouse, they're all like tap gestures because it can't really tell if you continue to squeeze. And that's where the Mudra Link really stands out, is you can do tap and hold gestures, you can do flip over and tap and scroll type gestures, all kinds of cool things. So definitely something to consider when doing that comparison. But let's look at some of the information. So it does require Bluetooth. Now, you have to pair it to your device. You have to, right now, start with pairing it to a Mac or a Windows device so you can set it up. But I think they're looking at working on something like that. I did actually speak with the Mudra team, and one interesting note that they mentioned to me was that they are going to be allowing you to connect the Mudra Link to up to 4 devices. And one of my biggest complaints with the Mudra Link at this point is actually Bluetooth connectivity and switching between devices. But we'll talk about that a little bit more towards the end of the video, I think. So definitely stick around for that. Right now, it's compatible with all major operating systems, and so I've tested it with Windows, Mac OS, a bunch of different Android types. I haven't tested it with any Apple devices, but I'm sure it works. They actually have an Apple-specific one. If you have an Apple Watch, definitely check out the Mudra Band. But it's verified to work with VR, AR, MR, XR, tablets, smartphones, all kinds of things. And then compatibility, we did talk about some of these OSs over here. So yeah, Apple iPad OS is right here, and then Mac OS, Chrome OS, yeah, pretty much anything with Bluetooth, because what it does is it acts as an input device, and so it kind of tricks the device. I don't know if trick's the right way to put it, but it makes the device believe that it's sort of a mouse. And so anything that can support a Bluetooth mouse can basically support the Mudra. Now it's when it gets to those shortcuts and mapped gestures that it starts to kind of impact your compatibility. But This is the device right here. You can see some good pictures on here, so I don't actually think I'll bust it out because these are going to be better than my B-roll. Now, as far as the color goes, I think this is the only one. You can see it in the picture, and you can see it on my arm. It's sort of like a gray tan color. It's not terrible. I think I would prefer just black. But if you maybe got creative with some like fabric spray paint or something, you could do it. But I'm not ready to do that at this point. I don't want to risk messing it up. It does have water resistance. There it is. There is an IP56 water resistance rating. It's obviously got the LED. And I actually do have the card here. I plucked and filed this, but immediately fished it out because I was like, how can I tell what's going on with these lights? It does mention on here that the LED indications, blue means charging, yellow is pairing mode, green is connected, and red is low battery. I had it die on me one time and I saw the red and I was like, I don't know what that means. Luckily I hadn't thrown away the box and stuff yet, so I was able to grab it and fish it out. It does come with a carrying case. You'll see that in the unboxing piece. But I think that's about it. So definitely head over to the Mudra website. Let's go ahead and move over to the unboxing, and then we'll get to setup and testing.
I don't really know why, but I love that this says "Hello Human" on here. It's sort of greeting you, which I think is really cool. Once you pop it open, you get the actual box, and it has an image of the band on the front. The box is really nice. I like that it has the easy to remove pull tabs to kind of separate everything. Future at your fingertips. Neural wristband for gesture control. That's definitely true. And once you get into it, you get a nice little note from the team. You're a true pioneer. Pause that and read it if you want. This is the card that I ended up fishing out of the trash because I plug and filed it. You can see the information on the LED right there. And you got the case. And then there's this little box which has the charger cable in here. Now it is USB-C, so hopefully you have a nice little power brick that goes straight to USB-C, but at this point, I'm in 2026, you probably do. And the device is inside the case. And honestly, it's really cool. The fabric feels good, the silicone's nice. Couple things to note here. You can see the sensors, which are actually going to be detecting your gestures, and then the paper right here says the power button needs to face you, and then this is the charger, which connects onto here with what is a pretty strong magnet, so I'm happy with that. During your initial setup, you'll download the application and get it all set up. It'll walk you through step by step of how to wear it, how to do things like that. I did have it recorded, but that footage got corrupted, so I apologize for that. But we'll pick up from the device has just been connected to the computer, and we're ready to actually go learn about it and try it out. So we'll move into the tutorials, and you can see it does have two modes. In keyboard mode, you're actually swiping as if you're tapping on a key, with the arrow D-pad. To switch from cursor to keyboard mode, you double tap, same to go back. And you single tap to put it into standby, which I think is cool, so you're not always manipulating everything. Let's go ahead and test some of these gestures. And so I guess I'll start with the keyboard. So we're in keyboard mode, and in order to switch modes, you double tap the button. So I'm in keyboard mode, it's pink, that's how you can tell. And so we'll try the pinch and slide to move around in direction arrows. And so I have to turn on. Tap, single tap to turn on. You can see my status icon changed up there to show it. And now we just try it out. So pinch, swipe, pinch, down, swipe. Oh, that was kind of cool. I did like a both motion. And then up, right, left, down. Wonder if I can do boop, 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 boop. Yeah, there we go. So you can do like double motions. Probably look crazy. Just do double tap. I'm gonna practice. Okay. Back out of standby mode. And I can just double tap to enter. Boop, boop. Easy enough. Now this one, it wants me to slide over to the Mudra Link icon and then double tap it. So let's give that a shot. Dun, 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 dun. Boop. Oh, double tap. Double tap. There we go. Got it. Now I don't like keyboard mode very much, if I'm being totally honest. It doesn't feel as intuitive. I like having the cursor and just being able to move around. So let's move over to mouse mode. And again, to get into mouse mode, you would do a double tap to switch. When it's green flashing, that's mouse mode. Let's go through the basic gestures. Turn on AirTouch, tap. And now you can see immediately my mouse is up. And I can just use that to navigate. And so move the cursor over the dot, hover, over here, now over here, now over here. You can control your pointer speed. think I'm going to do a little higher. I don't have to make such big movements. Yeah, there we go. Because my screen is pretty large. I'm on the 4K monitor. Now it wants me to put it in standby mode again, but I think I'm going to just like skip that because I like to control it this way. But okay, let's try tap and go to it, tap, go to it, tap, go to it, tap, go to it, tap. Honestly, it feels great. You should hold, so tap and hold, and move over here. That's good. That's the big differentiator, being the tap and hold that the other types of items like this don't have. Also, you place it on 9, so I'm going to tap and hold and move to 9. There we go. Tap and hold, move to 3. There we go. Amazing. Not going to do standby. I honestly could see myself using a computer like this all the time, and I think it's perfect for smart glasses. Now let's try the advanced gestures. Reverse tap. Yeah. And then you select. So I want to delete it. Delete. Good. Reverse pinch and slide. So it's like a scroll function. Pinch and slide. Pinch and slide. Pinch and slide. Pinch and slide. Okay. So I don't love this one. There we go. Let's lower scroll speed. See, we can't see it doing it. There we go. Okay, so lower scroll speed actually lets me see it. There it is. So let go. Tap and hold. So I think the thing I was running into is that the hand has to be like all the way up. I was trying like halfway up, and that just doesn't work. But all the way up. There we go. Yeah, that feels good. Wants me to be in standby mode to detect. Okay. Simple enough. Let's map it to play pause and then double twist. Practice it. Double twist pause balloon. Twist, twist. That's good. Do I have to do it that hard? Twist, twist. Ooh, so you don't have to do it crazy. Twist, twist. I like that. I guess we could map this one to like Alt plus back. Let's try my double tap twist motion or single twist on media. So we'll head into the INAIR pod review. This is a good one if you haven't seen it before. And we'll just do whoop. So in the demo, we had to test it when it was in standby mode. But I think, yeah, when you actually go to use it, it needs to not be in standby mode. And so now if I wanted to go back, boom, that is amazing. And then just tap to go into it. There we are. Now let's try the scroll method. Awesome. There is one other really cool spot in here. It's the Neural Explorer. And so what this one does is it just kind of shows you kind of like your fit, right? And so it shows you the symbols, like the sensors. And if I do a tap, you can see it's recognizing my tap. Now if I tap and hold, it does see the pressure. So I'm holding pretty tight, but if I start to let go, you can see it's lowering up until it's totally on. And you can see what it's kind of looking for when I do my twists. And there's also a fit check function in here. I like the Neural Explorer for it, but you can do a fit check and just start it to see. Hold your hand out and still, and it's going to start. Boom. Great fit. Looks like it's stable and it's there. Now, I think I mentioned it a couple times, but I do have to keep it pretty tight to get it to be as good as it is right now. If I start to loosen it a little bit, I lose a little bit of that accuracy. Under Gesture Mapper, they do have different presets, so if you wanted to work on your PC, you can do Mac, Windows, Linux. For mobile, iPhone, Android phones, iPad, different TV OSs, some XR glasses, so you got the X-Ray Beam, Viture, Roku Station, RayNeo Pocket TV, Samsung Galaxy XR, and then if you had just a general media controller.
Okay, let's look at how to use Mudra Link and Tap Link. So I made some adjustments, and there is an issue where the mouse can go from left eye to right eye. Got a little bit of a full 2D screen that's split up into two 2D screens issue, but it kind of works out in my favor because if I'm on the right screen, which you guys probably can't see right now, and I grab, then I can scroll. Oh, I should probably go this way. Then I can scroll on that screen without clicking anything in the website. So if I click around in here, it doesn't do anything. You can click the navigation buttons because I control those, but the actual web page itself, you can't click when you're in the right eye. But if I move to the left eye, now let me actually go to YouTube, I guess. So I clicked on YouTube, and now if I wanted to scroll in the left eye, I can still use this bar here. Oh, it looks like I misclicked that. But let me go back. Boop. I can still use the scroll bar to move around. And if I wanted to click on this video, I can click it to watch. I don't know, it's just like the coolest thing ever to me. We can make it full screen. And what's actually really cool is in the, when you're using the Mudra, you can actually scan the video and stuff better than you can with the default cursor. And if I click on it, you see I have access to this, and I can actually move around.
Okay, so it's hard to really see, but I'm using the Mudra with the INAIR pod right now, and you can see my cursor down there at the bottom. Now it's way at the top, but here it is. Okay, so what I can do is click and swipe. And it works really well on here. Now, if you wanted to throw your pod in your pocket or something and walk around using it like this is definitely something that's possible. The only issue is, well, for me was an issue, was I was trying to figure out how to get the cursor to go away on the pod, like the actual motion one from the device. But if you triple tap on that, it goes away for you. Now, if you have no idea what the INAIR pod is, and you're like curious about it, okay, you can actually see my hand now. You can actually check out that video on the channel. It's definitely a good one. I recommend. I'm a little biased though because it's my video, but it works pretty well. The one thing would be it does kind of go off the screen a little bit sometimes, and so luckily the back and forth motion that you use in the pod also does a recalibration on the band. Now, if you wanted to connect to something like a Google TV so you can control that with the Mudra, you just go into normal Bluetooth settings, go to pair, it's going to search for accessories, make sure that you're in pairing mode, and once it starts to find things, they'll pop up over there in the corner. Okay, I had to back out and go back in for it to really start picking everything up, but you can see right at the top, it's got the Mudra band, and I hit the button to pair, and now it's paired. So you can see my button is green, and if I go ahead and tap on it to activate cursor mode, now you can see the cursor floating around. Let me see if zooming out a bit will help. So I headed back to the home screen, and since I have my cursor up, I can use this to kind of navigate around. So I'll drop you a little lower. See? Pretty awesome. Now heading to YouTube. Okay, so it's the preset has a single flick as back. And so this is good if you like don't have your remote or something, you don't want to get up and grab it. You can just turn on the Mudra and go mess with your thing, but I think that's pretty awesome. So currently, if you're connected to something via Bluetooth, the only way, aside from disconnecting from the device you're connected to get out of it and get back into pairing mode is to tap and hold this power button. And you'll see that red flash, and that means it's been almost factory reset, right? So the next time you go to actually pair this to something, the issue is going to be all your saved mappings and stuff are gone. So you'll have to first connect it back to your PC, reset up your mappings, and then go do that. I did speak with the Mudra team. They sound pretty open to making this not reset all your mappings. So hopefully that'll make pairing between devices a little bit easier. But until then, it's kind of a limitation. All right, we've checked out the box. We've checked out how to use it with different devices. It works really well. My biggest gripes, I don't know if I've mentioned it yet or not, but the changing between devices is super complicated. I mean, it's not that complicated, right? It's just inconvenient. So you have to make sure to unpair from the device that you're paired to in order to enter pairing mode without forgetting all your items. I'll insert a little clip of how to like unpair via the band, but when you do that, you lose all your map settings, and that's very painful because then it'll switch to your left hand and you'll lose all your custom gestures. But if you check it out, it does have like a huge size rating that it can go to, so I wouldn't worry too much about getting it to fit. Now, having it sense everything really well was a little bit more difficult. Now, I don't have like the smallest wrist, and you can see sort of the indentation on my wrist, and that's because in order for me to really get this thing to like be super accurate with my taps and touches, I have to wear it a little tight. And it's not like the most breathable material. I think it's probably a silicone or something. But it basically, it doesn't feel bad, right? But it's definitely tighter than, you know, if I was to compare with my Android watch or my Wear OS watch. There's also a bit of a guessing game when it comes to a device that's not like natively supported in the settings application. And so when I moved over to my RayNeo X3 Pro, I believe I was the first person to really unlock the Bluetooth capabilities of this thing. And so it was up to me to sort of figure out what button combinations do what. And so I think it was like command back button or backspace or something to be able to go back and just things like that. And so definitely if you're using the RayNeo X3 Pros and you want to pick this up, it's something that I would recommend, but just with the notion of there are some quirks with it. So we touched on that. Right eye is basically like it's either or when it comes to the eyeballs. It's just not showing the cursor in both eyes, which I think is probably a RayNeo thing. So RayNeo, if there's something you can do on that end, definitely would recommend it. For my application, it does kind of work out, so you're not doing any accidental touches on the web page, but I can see how that would be annoying in most other applications, and it's sort of like goes back to that Meta Ray-Ban display issue that I was having with the monocular display. And that's part of the reason why we love the RayNeos, is because it's 2 full color waveguides, one for each eye. We're not having as much fatigue and stuff. So definitely think that needs to get worked out if you're planning to use these for those glasses. But something like the INAIR Pod felt really good. It definitely can go a little farther out, but having the ability to recenter it was a nice benefit. And it's the perfect tool for like using it when you don't want to get up, right? So once they have that 4 extra devices or that 4 total device connectivity, being able to switch over to your TV when you don't want to go grab the remote, or if you're sitting in the car and you got your phone on the dash and you're like watching a video or playing it for the kids or something, you can do your gestures to control it. I had it hooked up to my Google TV up in the living room during the Super Bowl, and when I would get up to go to the bathroom or something, I didn't want to miss anything, I would do the shake gesture to pause it, and when I'd come back, I could shake and unpause it, and granted, you know, everybody was like, oh, why are you pausing it? But, you know, I didn't miss anything, and I was able to fast forward back up once the commercials or something came. So definitely enjoying the product. Thanks again to the Mudra team for sending it out. But I would say overall, it's an awesome product. I think the price is what it has to be for the technology. You know, there's not a whole lot of options out there for this. And I think that as the space begins to grow and technology becomes more available and cheaper for creating something like this, that price will probably go down. There are some awesome updates in the pipeline for this, and it's something that I look forward to seeing grow. But as of right now, I would say if we're asking the question, who is it for, right? My answer would be it's for the tech enthusiasts who want the latest and greatest. They want a cool way to interact with their smart glasses. They want a cool thing to show off and play with. But am I going to use it personally for like day-to-day work and productivity? Probably not. But I think if I'm wearing the RayNeo X3 Pros, then I'll also be wearing the Mudra Link. They're at this point going hand in hand because the browser I developed for the RayNeo X3 Pros support it super well, and it's just a better way to interact with the glasses. It almost feels like this is the right way to interact with smart glasses, and hopefully more companies will start to do different types of things like this to support natively something like this. Like RayNeo had a video when the glasses were first being debuted where they were using something like the Mudra Link, and so we all kind of went into it expecting it to work natively, but then you get the glasses and Bluetooth is locked down. So if you have a set of RayNeo X3 Pros and you want to figure out how to get something like this hooked up, definitely head over to the channel. We have a video like that. If you want to see some more awesome tech content, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, stick around. We definitely appreciate everybody who's here. We're moving on up to that 2,000 subscriber milestone. We will be having a giveaway once we hit that. I think it'll be probably a little bit longer, but definitely appreciate everybody who's already subscribed. Hit like if you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, definitely drop them in the comments section. Use the links in the description if you want to pick up something and help out the channel. Definitely appreciate that. Again, my name is Connor. This is where the Informal Tech Reviews live, and we'll see you next time. Peace.